New day here on TV3, and it's time for Big Issue. Today, we'll be focusing largely on the unending Bawku conflict. It's one that the government has over the period. In fact, successive governments have tried to resolve, but every now and then, things seem to be improving. Then all of a sudden, there is a bit of a recurrence of the same clashes again. Sometimes it takes different forms. Either men in uniform are being attacked or ordinary people attacking each other. We'll try and bring you the very latest in terms of what happened on Wednesday and Thursday and have a discussion on what can be done differently. The president has, in the last few months since taking office, appealed. In fact, the very first speech, he made an appeal. On the Independence Day as well, he again made another appeal. We'll talk about all of that and find out what can be done to find a lasting solution to this particular problem. And joining me in the studio for the discussion today is the usual Friday team. Is fully set now. I mean, last week you might have realized a key member, our number 6. Or which position did he say he used to play? AB, what was the position last time? 6, right?
Let's go on this one.
Well, yes, that's
10. He was playing 10.
Abraham Amaliba. He's a legal practitioner, Director General, National Road Safety Authority. He's back with us this morning. Next to him is everyone's uncle. My mom is constantly telling me that he's my favorite on the panel. I say no, but my mom says he's my favorite. Kwame Jantua, he's a legal practitioner, energy analyst. He belongs to the Convention People's Party as well. And next to him is Ebo Bachman, the only Barcelona fan around the table. I mean, aside from me, if you take me out, the best team on earth, aside from Asante Kotoko. Kotoko is the best team, but after Kotoko, Barcelona. Ebo Bachman is a senior communicator with the Movement for Change. He's also into financial and economic analysis as well. Ebo is a supporter of Barcelona. Like I said, Ebo, it's good to see you.
It's good to see it.
Our team is doing well.
Where did the football come from?
But of course,
when your team is doing well,
you see what we did to Madrid.
But
okay. No, I like that one.
But last week I said Madrid was sinking.
Yes,
and
don't find the excuses. Play a good match.
Well, we'll see how the second leg goes.
So we'll beat them.
Joining us as well is Professor Enoch Opoku-Entwi. Professor is a governance and policy analyst. Prof, in his nice bow tie. Just look at the bow tie. Prof.
Easy.
And your homework platform is power.
Well, so let's get into the discussion now. And it's a very serious issue of concern. And the latest incident, we are told, it all started on Wednesday. And we understand that, I mean, what has been reported mainly is a clash between the youth and the police. But it began when we are told that the youth from one faction had ordered market women from a rival group to vacate a specific area. And that led to a confrontation with the police that had attempted to intervene. So it resulted in the crossfire that took place. The unrest also saw the burning of the Bawku Divisional Police Commander's residence and other police facilities. I mean, interesting to know that on the same day, a statement was issued by the Interior Ministry announcing a review of the curfew that had been imposed in that particular area. And so that statement indicated that on the advice of the Upper East Regional Security Council and by executive instruments, reviewed the curfew hours imposed on the Bawku municipality and its environs in the Upper East regions to 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. effective Wednesday, April 9, 2025. And government calls on chiefs, elders, opinion leaders, youth and people of the area to exercise restraint in the face of the challenges confronting them, as well as to use non-violent means to channel their energies into ensuring peace. Meanwhile, there's a total ban on all persons in the aforementioned communities and their environs from carrying arms, ammunition, or any offensive weapon, and any persons found with any arms or ammunition will be arrested and prosecuted. So that is the first statement that came on Wednesday from governments. There have been other statements that have also come out, and I just want to bring you those statements as well. There's one from the Ghana Police Service, and you know that I indicated that a part of the clash was between the residents and the police. So the IGP is paying a courtesy call on Bawku Naba during official visits to Bawku, and that statement states that the Inspector General of Police, Christian Teteyohuno, accompanied by some members of the Police Management Board and other experts from the National Police Headquarters, who pay a courtesy call on the esteemed overlord of Bawku, Zugran Bawku Naba Asigri Abugrago Azoka II, as part of an official visit to Bawku. And during the visit, the IGP and his team will hold consultations with the overlord of Bawku and seek his counsel and support as the team works together with other stakeholders to resolve some misunderstanding between some youth groups of the town and the police, which resulted in violence on 9th April 2025. It concludes by saying that the Ghana Police Service remains committed to working with all stakeholders to enhance security in Bawku and surrounding communities. There's one more from the majority leader that I'll bring you a bit later on, because his residence had been attacked by some of the youth in the area there. And so that is a statement that I just brought you from the police on your screens now and there. And so, I mean, you can understand simply why the IGP would want to go there, because his men were caught up in this. They were on the other side at a point in time, and I've seen the videos from the police, and you would wonder what is happening there. I mean, it's a very disturbing story, a very sensitive matter, but it's one that we have to discuss, because we all agree as a nation that it's something that cannot continue to happen. And I want to start the conversation first by picking the initial remarks from my guests around the table on what they make of this latest incident. And I want to start with Mr. Amaleba, directly opposite to me. I mean, AB, I mean, I don't know whether you've seen the videos. I mean, the police coming under attack. We've seen properties being burnt and everything. I don't know how you process all what has been taking place since Wednesday.
Thank you. Let me say good morning to your viewers. Bawku is in my home region, and I'm conversant with the conflict in Bawku. This conflict has historical antecedents. There are historical tensions between the two major tribes. People think that they are the only tribes in Bawku. We have the Kusasis and Mampushis, but there are other smaller tribes. But predominantly, the conflict is between the Mampushis and the Kusasis. Now, this war, I'll call it a war because it has taken away lives, it has taken away property, it has collapsed the economy in Bawku. Bawku is a border town, a thriving border town, but today it's a pale shadow of itself. The economic repercussions is dire. Offices, governments, departments have closed down. Schools have closed down. Health centers have closed down. And for me, this is what the people there should be thinking about and be looking at. Not about who is a chief and who is not a chief. These things I've enumerated. If you are a human being and they don't depress you, and as a native of the place, you are from Bawku, and what I've enumerated has not depressed you this morning, then you are not a human being. You know? So, if 1 inch of Ghana's territory is unsafe, the entire country is unsafe. And I'm picking this from Nkrumah saying that if Ghana is independent and the rest of the African country is not independent, it's meaningless. So it's the same thing. Because, and don't forget where Bawku is situated, towards the Sahel. We all know what is happening in the Sahel area. The rebels and what dissidents in those areas who are fighting against governments of those Sahelian countries can easily take over that part of our country and begin to do what they want. But I want to ask a question. If we are unable as a country to deal with the Bawku crisis, is it far-fetched if I sit here to say we should call in the UN? Because I'm taking this from the fact that if our economy is battered, we go to the IMF. So if a portion of our country is causing us some discomfort, will it be far-fetched for me to call for a UN intervention? But these are things that we should think about. I don't want to go to the historical tensions between the two communities or the two tribes. because for me, those ones are past. But in modern day, these people have intermarried. The MP, who is the majority leader today, has his father a Kusasi and his mother a Mampushi. He's not the only one. I recently met a Mampushi man, and I raised the issue of this conflict. He told me that for him, it's a useless venture. It's a useless exercise. It doesn't make sense to be fighting over what they are fighting over. Can I therefore call on natives of the two tribes who, because always good is bigger than evil. There are more good people in this country, in this world, than bad people. Can we assemble people from the two ethnic groups who will champion the peace in Bawku? Because I know there are a lot of them, both Kusasis and Mampushis, who are not happy about the conflict. Can we bring them together? Opinion leaders who are of that like mind, not the warlike people. What I'm doing this morning is, as I lament, I proffer a solution. I give one, I tease out something. Again, in Bawku today, you can walk freely. There are targeted killings in Bawku. And this has even extended into Accra or the city centers where they target each other in the various communities. My brothers and sisters in Bawku, my call this morning, and they have seen me being careful, because I know that if you speak the truth and it aligns with one side, you are seen as an enemy. I'm speaking the truth, but I'm being careful not to align with one side. It is unacceptable for women, for children who are not interested in the war, but just want to live their lives, are always caught up in this conflict. Can we think about the fact that if we continue this way, Bawku will become a ghost town? Can we think about that and avoid the conflict? For security agencies, until my suggestion is accepted, where we bring in UN peacekeepers, your aim there is not to take sides. Don't be provoked. Sometimes I can understand the security agencies. They'll say that Munti na ya ja your wife fear or fear and ya baha mama ya beba da de. That is not what you as a security person who is there to bring about peace should be thinking about. So don't hate the people. See it as your regular peacekeeping forces that you go to Rwanda and Sudan and all those things. See the people as your responsibility to provide them with protection. And if we do this, this tension also between, the current one is tension between the security agencies and the people. And I think that if some of the things I'm saying enters people's ears, they should work with it.
I mean, let me come to you, Mr. Jantua, and I mean, Ebi makes the point about how it affects people's lives directly. And I mean, schools are more often than not, after a week or two, there's another incident and they are closed down. People cannot freely go about their businesses. I mean, if you compare that to how we are all living in other parts of the country, I mean, it should be a major issue of national concern that we must be giving it the needed attention to ensure that we restore some normalcy to that area.
Good morning to our viewers. Are we giving it the normal attention? Would we say so? Because it is disrupting life in that area. And one of the major challenges is the rural-urban migration. People would want to leave Bawku and come down south, come down to other parts of the country. And when they come and they have no skill, what happens? They do all sorts of jobs. Some get into crime. You know, the gun culture in Ghana is growing all the time. Just recently, we saw a Galamsey who had died, and having his funeral. The members who were attending the funeral took pistols out and were shooting in the air. That goes to show that, you know, the gun culture in Ghana is rife, and something must be done about it. However, why the entrenched positions, especially with the youth? There seems to be entrenched positions from both sides where the youth are concerned. I would have thought that the youth would try as much as possible to be the ones who bring unity to these old historical challenges that are being faced in Bawku. But it doesn't seem so. It seems as if it's entrenched. And I was wondering, what is it about the security service